friends, welcome back to the Quack House. My name is Anna and I'm the maker behind Quack House Crochet. First of all, you may notice that I'm in a little bit of a different setting. I am at my parents' house, so I don't have my tripod, I don't have any equipment, but tomorrow starts the work week again and I already know that it's going to be a busy day, so I didn't want to wait until I got home to film this, so I apologize for the shakiness due to the lack of the tripod. This is actually future me coming to give you a little bit of an intro to this video. So in my last video where I talked about my kind of flop of a market, I had mentioned that I had been approached by a vendor who had asked me to essentially crochet his mascot, or it was his mascot, because their logo, I learned when we went to visit them that day, or well, you'll see in the video, their logo is much different from what he asked me to create, but he had asked me to create his mascot, and so I got an idea for a series of videos where I essentially went around to all of our vendor friends or some other small businesses and crocheted either like their mascots or their logos or something that went along with their small business as kind of like, you know, just a nice little like way to support them and to build community and just share some love, right? I will now cut to past me so she can give you the full rundown. Hey everyone, so full disclosure, my office is a hot mess. I did my first plushie drop on Etsy today, actually. It is Saturday, July 19th, I think. Yeah, July 19th. So I did my very first plushie drop on Etsy today. So there are plushies available for sale on my shop. But I wanted to come on because I had talked in my previous video about wanting to do a series where I went and I crocheted the mascots or an associated item or logo item or character for some local small businesses. I got this idea because I was actually approached by a vendor that we know at one of the markets where we normally attend and where we normally sell. And he was asking me to crochet. It's kind of like their character. They're called the Coffee Beaner, and so he gave me some direction. He wanted a coffee bean with a mustache. If it was possible, he wanted a sombrero. And so I kind of want to see if I can do it. I feel like I can do it, but I just wanted to see how much of this I could get done. It gave me the idea that, you know, we've come into community with a lot of like the other vendors at these markets. And so I wanted to, you know, try and show them love and show them support by crocheting, you know, something that they could keep on their booths or keep on their display, or even maybe just keep on their home that would remind them of like their small business endeavors. And you know, I thought it'd be like a nice way also to just kind of like build community. So this is going to be the first in that series. Don't mind me, I look so rough. I literally just woke up. It is the first Saturday after a brand new like 9 to 5 hustle. So I am adjusting to that after 2 years of working from home. But I'm really, really excited to see what we can do with this. So let's get right into it. So the very first thing I'm going to do is obviously just look to see if there's something I can follow as like a base for my pattern. So I actually had seen this one a while ago. This is a free pattern from Stringy Ding Ding. I think it's such a cute little coffee bean. It's got so much personality, but also the other reason why I like it is because if you see here, like right on the top, this would give me enough real estate so that if I could make a sombrero, that I could actually get it to sit on top of his head. He also wanted a mustache, on his coffee bean, and I figure if I move these eyes up a little bit, maybe to about right here, then I could also get a mustache going on in this area. So I just like this pattern. First of all, it's so cute, but it also just gives me some real estate to work with to mess around with the features a little bit that I want. So that's the very first one that we're gonna do, or that we're going to attempt. Now I do see that it's made in a worsted weight yarn, but I was looking at this picture for reference, and if this is in fact like an actual coffee cup, and if it's not like some AI generated image, I don't think it is, but just in the event that this is just like Photoshop or something. But yeah, if this is an actual like coffee cup and this is the coffee bean sitting atop of it, I don't think it will be so bad when I work it up. And I'm definitely going to use Parfait Chunky for this, just because I have the most shades of brown in Parfait Chunky, but also because I know it's a weight 6, but to me it almost kind of feels like a weight 5 sometimes. So even if this is not an accurate like portrayal of the size, or if it's not an actual size representation, we might still not get this like explosively large coffee bean, you know what I mean? So this is definitely, yeah, this is the route we're gonna go. So I was looking through my yarn stash, also sorry, so rough. But I was looking through my yarn stash trying to find colors, and because it's so nice and organized, I found these guys. So this is some Premier Just Chenille. This is in the color tan, and this yep, this is in the color Cocoa. So I picked these up a while ago because I could not find any browns, and I was looking for a shade to make some dirt in for some of my hanging plants. But I have these guys, and I think together with that pattern, they would make like the perfect little coffee bean. So I think we're gonna go with these guys and so these are actually stated to be a weight 5. And again, because this is made in worsted weight, I don't want to get into a situation where I've got this like ginormous coffee bean. I don't think it would work up that way with Parfait Chunky anyway, but this is a weight 5, and it is definitely thinner than Parfait Chunky, while also still feeling, it actually does really feel nice and soft. And I've got the perfect colors for it. And my goal is to whittle down this yarn layer of mine, the yarn hoard. So I think this is what we're doing. We're gonna go with these 2 colors, and let's see how far we can get. So I'm really sorry that I didn't give much information about the sombrero pattern that I used. So this was actually from a website called hookedonpatterns.com, and it was a free mini sombrero pattern. And the minute I saw it, I absolutely fell in love with it. I just loved all the colors. I loved how it worked out, the shape, all of it. The pattern itself was pretty quick and like straightforward. Of course, because it was acrylic yarn, it took a little bit longer to work up. And I was honestly rushing because I don't know who I thought I was at 8 a.m. deciding, oh, let me just whip something up real quick. And we can go to market and I'll film content and I'll be a mom and I'll, you know, do all of these things. But yeah, that pattern was really quick and simple. I will say, when you get down to the brim of the hat, and this was not the pattern's fault, this was 100% my fault. When you get down to the brim of the hat for this pattern, it actually tells you to flip onto the wrong side of the work, or the wrong side of what you're working on. And I didn't do that. I just kept working in the round and color changing, working in the round and color changing. And then I realized why I told you to do that. It is because that brim ends up flipping up, and then because I didn't follow instructions, all of those like tied off ends were exposed on the outside of the work. So what I did was, I have these little tags that are like faux leather, and they say handmade, and you can sew them onto your work. I use those for my mesh bags. So what I did was I actually took one and then I sewed it onto the brim of the hat to cover up all of those tied up ends, or yeah, all of those exposed tied ends. And it looked better. Thankfully, it looked better, because I was like, there's no way I'm remaking this. Like, I have absolutely no time. My daughter was ready to go and get her face painted. Mr. Quackhouse was ready to go and get his goodies. He was really excited for the freeze-dried candy booth. And actually, the one item he was looking for by the time we got to the market had been sold out. So sorry about that. I totally messed up his morning sweet tooth. My bad. But yeah, I 100% recommend that pattern. The other thing about it was that after I made it, and I don't know if it's because I was in such a rush and my tension was really tight, or maybe I was using a 3.5 millimeter hook and I should have sidestepped to a 3.75 or a 4. I really didn't want gaps in the hat, but it ended up looking kind of small. Like, the base of the hat ended up looking kind of small and funny. But what I did was, when we went into the car, I was actually like kind of stretching out the yarn a little bit. And as I was doing that, it was great. It had a lot of like give, or, you know, it had enough give so that I could widen the base of the hat. And then I had brought a little yarn needle and a longer like piece of acrylic yarn to actually sew that sew the hat onto the top of the coffee bean. And so it ended up working out because it was like stretched out, and then I ended up stretching out the brim a little bit more. Obviously, if I had had enough time, I would have like maybe tried to do a little bit more blocking or do something. I mean, I don't even know how I would have blocked that, but I would have tried to do something to like stretch that out and give it a little more structure. But it worked.
Hello.
We wanted to record because we made something for y'all. Oh my god!
That is awesome. Show it to the camera.
That is amazing. It looks just like me.
I love it.
That is.
You good?
This was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun because it gave me the opportunity to, you know, seek out a pattern or seek out a design that I probably would never have thought of, or, you know, put together some designs, I should say, because I none of these were my own creation except for the little freehand mustache. But this gave me the opportunity to kind of like think outside of my normal box and think outside of how I would normally maybe look for things or pair things up, and to create something. And you saw the reactions. They were just thrilled. As a matter of fact, we ended up walking around the market a little bit afterwards and, you know, just kind of like doing some browsing. And we passed their booth again like 1 or 2 times, and each time the vendor came up to us and he was just telling us like, man, we're obsessed with him, we love him, he came out better than we had ever envisioned. And he was just like stoked about like the little coffee bean, the little mascot. And like, you know, for me, even when we do markets, like I think I said this in the last video, but it's like, even if we don't have that great of a sales day, part of like the allure of markets is getting out into the community and meeting with people and seeing their reactions to the things that you create. Whether or not you're doing that off of your own patterns or the way that you're adapting other people's patterns, like it's just really nice, right? Because like, you know, you put your time, your effort, your blood, your sweat, your tears. I mean, maybe not all of those things, but you know, like you really put your love and your effort into making these creations and into thinking about what would be like enjoyable or nice for other people. And then you find that customer who takes that item home, especially if it's like something that's a little more niche or just something that maybe has been on your table for a while, or maybe it's something that you were really excited about and then you see somebody else get really excited about it and taking it home. And it's like, I don't know, it's a rewarding feeling, and it's a really nice feeling to know that like your art is now out there, like, you know, in a home with a child or an adult or in an office, or just, you know, it's somewhere that somebody is like really loving it and appreciating it. And maybe when they're having a bad day, they take a look at it and it just gives them the biggest smile and makes their day just that much better. So that's probably the most rewarding part about doing all of this. Even when like the financial gains aren't there. So I just love it. I love the art. I love being able to create and to share those creations with the world. But I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you liked it. If you would like to see more of this series, please comment down below. I went around actually and took some pictures of some of the other vendors' logos and their table displays to actually get some ideas of what we could do as a follow-up or as like additional episodes to the series. And I'm actually really excited because some of the vendors who sell at this market that we go to in our little like neighbor town, they get really creative with like their logos, or they just sell some like really cool stuff. So I'm excited about the possibility for this series. I hope you liked this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see more from this series. Also, I heard you all loud and clear. The free duck pattern roundup is coming. I am doing my best to find some patterns that are a little different from what we normally see. We will have more market prep videos as I get ready for my 2 large markets in the fall. Actually, I think it's 3 now. I need to double check. And yeah, just thank you all for being in my little corner of the internet. Like, subscribe, that all really helps for the growth of my channel. So excited to have you here in the flock, and I'll see you next time. Bye.